I'm wondering, with a show of hands, how many people in this room have seen a Weight Watchers or Jenny Craig advertisement? Pretty much every hand, that's what I thought. And how many of you have noticed the asterisk next to every success story they advertise? Got some hands, good. 10 years ago, that asterisk used to lead to a statement that said, "These results are not typical." Now that asterisk leads to a statement that says, "Clients who follow our food plan typically lose 1 to 2 pounds per week on average." While both of those statements are true, it's hardly encouraging. And it speaks to the sentiment of the weight loss companies focusing on getting you to lose weight. They're not interested in your life. They're not interested in your happiness. They're not interested in your joy. They're not even interested in your health. Would it surprise you to know that between 3 and 20% of people who have lost weight are able to maintain that weight loss for 1 year? If you were talking about cancer treatment and survival rates, that would be unacceptable. But we accept that with weight. Why? I'm here today to show you, through my own story, that actually focusing on the nuts and bolts of weight loss and weight management is not how to develop that healthy, satisfied life that you want. You see, society tells us that the way to succeed at weight loss is to count calories, measure your portions, figure out how many grams of protein and carbohydrates and not too much fat, exercise, have a personal trainer, and above all, use your willpower. And that works for a while. But willpower breaks. And when it breaks, that break is epic. How many times have you heard or said, "Well, I've kind of already blown my diet, so I might as well enjoy myself"? Yeah, me too. How many times have you heard someone say, maybe yourself, "I'll start eating healthy on Monday"? Or maybe January 1st. I used to think of it that way too, but I don't anymore. My story today starts when I was about 12 years old. I was in the pediatrician's office sitting on the bed, my mom sitting next to me, and the doctor leaned over to me and she said, "So, Erin, what are we going to do about the weight?" I could have died. I was maybe 20 pounds overweight at the time. So, of course, the next logical step was that my mother took me to Weight Watchers, being the healthy, responsible mom that she was trying to be. But I didn't want to be there. I wanted to lose weight, but I had no interest in portion control or calories or any of that business. So I lost a little weight, I gained it back. And that pattern continued throughout high school. I tried Jenny Craig, I tried exercise, the flavor of the month diet, you know it. And I always would lose a little weight, and then I would gain it back. And then usually a little more. And throughout high school, I suffered the consequences of discrimination and criticism, an epic lack of dates, which is horrible. But worst of all, as someone who wanted to go into a career performing opera, I was not able to get into the college and the opera program that I wanted to get into because my size didn't fit my voice. I went to another school, went on to my master's degree, still in singing, and I went on with my weight. And when I was 25, I decided I really need to do something about this weight thing. I need to match the roles that I would sing. Now, I was about 267 pounds at the time, and I joined Weight Watchers for the first time of my own free will. I dieted, I exercised, I counted my points, I had a personal trainer, my willpower was strong, I got compliments, I lost 80 pounds, and I crashed. I hit a wall that I didn't even know was there. You see, I had been using food to deal with emotions that I had no concept of how to cope with in any other way. And when I took that away from myself and I experienced those emotions again, I had no way to deal except the Reese's peanut butter cups. So I did. Not surprisingly, I regained all the weight that I lost and more. When I was 28, I went through a major life change. I went through a divorce. I moved across country. I started to go to therapy to figure out how I had contributed to my divorce issues. And I started to reevaluate my life, my career, what I needed. I started to realize I had needs. Who knew? So one of the things I realized was that I really needed to be healthy, not for an opera role, not for a job, but for me. I didn't feel good. So I decided to join Team in Training. Now, Team in Training is an organization that will train people to go from the couch to a marathon or a half marathon, and they ask you to train in exchange for raising money for cancer. They train you for free. And I was inspired to do this because I saw a coach who is literally 100 pounds soaking wet, I'm not kidding you, tell me that she had started running when she was 250 pounds, and I thought, if she can do it, I can do it. So I ran. I threw my heart into it. I pushed myself harder than I ever have before, and I got all the way up to 9 miles, and then I injured myself. Now, I want to give you a little visual. That's me in 2007. Can you imagine those knees carrying 270 pounds? They did. And when I injured myself, I kind of gave up. And I thought, maybe I'm just destined to be the fat girl. Maybe I just need to embrace that role, learn to be happy in this body that I really hate, and get on with life. So I did, and I merrily ate whatever I wanted. And I got up to 298 pounds. That's me at my honeymoon 3 years ago. I decided to do a 5K walk 2.5 years ago in May. And a 5K walk has always been something that I've been able to do very easily. It's been within my grasp. 5K is 3 miles. I do it in typically about 50 minutes if I'm walking. And this particular walk was no walk in the park. By the end of the walk, I thought I was going to die. I was staggering. I was gasping. I had used my inhaler so many times, I was nauseous. I felt every single pound on my feet. And I realized, this is not who I am. This is not who I want to be in this world. And that was the day that I made a vow to myself that I did not care what it would take. I needed to figure out why I had the weight problem and deal with that. So, I'm here today to share with you that I've lost 145 pounds. And I've kept it off for a year. The thing that is vital to know is that extra weight is a symptom, not the problem itself. And the only person who can decide to figure out what it's a symptom of is you. If you struggle with weight, make the vow to yourself that you will figure out what is causing your weight problem. And I'm not, for most people, talking about nutrition. Some people maybe, sure. But there could be medical issues at play. Breast cancer treatment, for example, will cause a woman to gain weight. Prednisone will cause a woman to gain weight. Hypothyroidism. But I would be hard-pressed to believe that there is any weight problem out there that doesn't have some small component of emotional issues. It might not be huge. It might be something as simple as being uncomfortable saying no when someone hands you food at a party. It might be as complex and as deep as a sexual abuse survivor who has unconsciously decided to become unattractive to future perpetrators. Only you can figure that out. The good news is you don't have to do it alone. You can assemble your research team and be the head researcher. You can have your psychologist, your nutritionist, your personal trainer, anyone on your team who you feel like will support you. But you are the driver. You are the only person who can drive that car. And let me just, while we're talking about it, blow another myth out of the water. There's no such thing as done. You know, there's this idea, this fantasy, that once you reach your goal weight, you're finished. Congratulations, you can go back to your normal life. No. In this process of figuring out what's going on for you, you have to figure out how to create a life that you want to keep living, because that's the way to keep off weight. If that life brings you joy, you're going to want to keep doing it. If that life is drudgery and taxing and irritating, of course you're going to go back to what's fun. Of course. And particularly for women, it's very important to understand that it's okay and, in fact, vital to take care of your own needs. We're so taught as women that we need to put our needs behind everyone else's. If you were at a party and you had to go to the bathroom, do you think anyone in the room would think you were rude to go pee? No. Food is the same thing. You don't have to eat what you don't want to eat. You don't have to eat what's not good for you. It's okay to take care of your needs. But the most important thing is that when you make mistakes, be compassionate with yourself. Everybody makes mistakes. There is not one person in the world who has not made a mistake. When I royally screw up, and it happens, I remember a quote from Mary Kay Ash, the founder of Mary Kay Cosmetics. And this is what she says: People fail forward to success. People fail forward to success. Learn from your mistakes. Because every mistake you make, even every good choice you make, will help you learn how to do it better the next time. So if there's one thing that you take away from tonight, I want you to remember that extra weight is a symptom. It's not the problem. That you are the head researcher. You are the one driving the car. You are the one creating the life that will bring you joy and happiness and health and forgiving yourself when you make a mistake. You are the one in charge because you are the only one who can be. Thank you.